From our previous discussion, we found ourselves standing at a crossroads of intriguing questions. Questions like, is consciousness merely a symphony of oscillating electrical pulses? Or what sparks these electrical pulses into existence? And the most mysterious of them all, what is consciousness? To tackle the enigma of consciousness, we turn our attention to the Orchestrated Objective Reduction theory, or Orch-OR. This theory was first introduced in the 1990s by a Nobel Prize-winning physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. The crux of Orch-OR is that consciousness is a quantum process facilitated by the microtubules in the brain's nerve cells. Penrose and Hameroff proposed that consciousness is a quantum wave coursing through these microtubules. And like every quantum wave, it possesses properties such as superposition, which is the ability to exist in many places simultaneously, and entanglement, the potential for two particles, no matter how far apart, to be interconnected. Now, there were some critics who questioned how the quantum state of quantum particles could remain coherent in a warm, wet brain. However, a scientist from the Orch-OR team, physicist and oncology professor Jack Tuschinski, recently silenced these critics. His experiment, the details of which are linked below, provided the much-needed validation. Now, let's revisit a concept from our first video, Brahm Gyan. It functions as a consistent vector between the physical and spiritual worlds, enabling transformation between the two. Since our physical world is subject to the whims of space-time, this function remains invariant to space-time. In terms of quantum mechanics, this appears to be a superposition. Our consciousness is omnipresent, unfettered by the constraints of space and time. But why do we not perceive our consciousness as unbounded by space-time limits? It might be because when we are awake and present in this world, our consciousness collapses into one state of reality, rather than being connected throughout space-time. To illustrate this, consider our proposed mosquito experiment. It's a bit like Schrödinger's cat experiment, but with a twist. We place a mosquito in a black box equipped with 3 switches. The first switch makes the box transparent, the second takes a snapshot of the box's interior, and the third instantly freezes the box's space. As an observer, we're unaware of the mosquito's state, whether it's flying or resting. The mosquito exists in a superposition of these states. Using the switches, we can observe the mosquito without disturbing its continuous state of being, capture a moment in time without disrupting the superposition, or freeze the space, collapsing the system into one state. Much like the mosquito in our experiment, we humans often find ourselves in a similar position. Think of it as being in a frozen state of existence, where our reality is confined solely to our mind, body, and thoughts. This is the third scenario. We are awake, yet we remain frozen, trapped within the boundaries of our own perception. Now, consider the scientists. They represent the second scenario. They have a snapshot of reality, a picture frozen in time. This snapshot is based on their current understanding, theories, experiments, and findings. This picture is updated as new discoveries are made, new theories are proposed, and new experiments are conducted. But this is still a static picture, a frozen moment in time. It doesn't reflect the fluid, dynamic nature of true reality. Now let's move to the first scenario. This is the realm of the practitioner of Brahm Gyan. Unlike us or the scientists, they are not trapped in a frozen state or limited by a static snapshot. They have the ability to see the ultimate reality in its true form, continuously and at will. They exist in a state of being awakened, in a superposition with the universe itself. They perceive the world not as a series of static moments, but as a flowing, ever-changing reality. This is the true essence of consciousness, the enigma we are trying to unravel. As we delve deeper into the enigma of consciousness, we find ourselves grappling with more questions than answers. Is consciousness just a combination of oscillating electrical pulses? The human brain, a complex network of neurons, is indeed a hub of incessant electrical activity. These electrical pulses, or neural oscillations, are believed to play a crucial role in our cognitive processes, including perception, memory, and awareness. But what triggers these electrical pulses? The answer lies in the intricate dance of ions across the neuron's membrane, a process driven by a variety of factors ranging from external stimuli to internal biological clocks. Yet this doesn't fully explain consciousness. What is awareness, one might ask? Is it merely the result of these electrical oscillations, or is there more to it? The Orch-OR theory we discussed earlier suggests that consciousness arises from quantum computations occurring within the brain's neurons. This implies that our awareness is not just a byproduct of electrical activity, but could be a fundamental aspect of the universe itself. Why do we think? This question takes us into the realm of philosophy and metaphysics. Our thoughts seem to emerge from our consciousness. Some propose that thinking is an evolutionary advantage, allowing us to navigate our complex social and physical environments. Others suggest that it is a means of exploring and understanding our own existence. In the end, our consciousness is much more than a sense of belonging or being. It is a dynamic, multifaceted phenomenon that continues to baffle and fascinate us. As we continue on this journey, let us remember that the questions we ask are just as important as the answers we seek. Imagine your mind as a transceiver, a device that both transmits and receives signals. A multitude of studies suggest that the human brain operates in a similar fashion, especially when groups of individuals work collectively towards a shared goal. The measurable synchronization of brainwaves among such groups indicates that our minds are constantly receiving, processing, and transmitting information. But what does this imply about our individuality? Each of us has a unique version of this transceiver, tuned to specific frequencies based on our experiences, genetic makeup, and even our current state of mind. This creates a rich tapestry of diverse thought patterns, beliefs, and perspectives. So, while we may be part of a shared consciousness network, our individual minds interpret and respond to these signals in unique ways. This leads us to another intriguing question. Are our thoughts truly ours? If our minds are constantly receiving signals, could it be that some of our thoughts are not entirely our own, but rather interpretations of these received signals? Does our subconscious play a role in this process? The transceiver mind hypothesis offers a fascinating perspective on our consciousness conundrum, suggesting that we are both independent and interconnected at the same time. It provides us with a fresh lens to explore our understanding of self, consciousness, and the universe. As we ponder these questions, remember, each thought we have, each question we ask, brings us one step closer to unraveling the enigma of consciousness. As we venture deeper into the consciousness conundrum, we face another enigma, the simulation paradox. As René Descartes famously said, "I think, therefore I am." But what if the reality we perceive and think about is nothing more than an elaborate simulation? If all we have ever perceived is a simulated reality, our thoughts and understandings would be bound by this perceptual limitation. This raises a profound question. Can we ever truly be self-aware and think about ourselves beyond what we perceive with our senses? Our sensory perception provides us with a version of reality, but it's not the whole picture. Our senses can deceive us, and our interpretations of reality can be flawed. The transceiver mind hypothesis suggests that our brains are not only receivers of sensory information, but also transceivers of thoughts and ideas. But if our thoughts are influenced by the signals we receive, how can we trust our own thinking? In the quest for true self-awareness, we must challenge our perceptions and question the authenticity of our thoughts. Are we merely thinking within the confines of our perceptual limitations, or are we capable of transcending these boundaries? Can we distinguish between thoughts that are truly ours and those that are merely interpretations of received signals? This paradox adds another layer to the consciousness puzzle, reminding us that self-awareness is not a simple concept, but a complex, layered phenomenon. It invites us to delve deeper into our understanding of self, consciousness, and reality. Remember, the journey towards self-awareness is as important as the destination. Each question we ask, each thought we ponder, brings us one step closer to unraveling the enigma of consciousness. As we delve deeper into the maze of consciousness, let's consider a modern-day conundrum, the AI paradox. Imagine an AI chatbot. Is it merely textual data or neural network weights stored in a logical semiconductor circuitry? If we ask the chatbot about its identity or existence, it can only respond with the information it has been programmed with. It can't perceive anything beyond its coded reality, even while simulating human conversation. Now consider this. If an identical AI model is stored in another circuitry, does that make both the circuitries the same being? They have identical thought processes at this point, stored in independent bodies. But what happens when these AI models begin to learn and evolve? Just like two identical twins, starting from the same genetic blueprint, they can grow to become distinct individuals based on their experiences and interactions. This paradox brings us to the question of identity. Are we defined by our initial programming or by our experiences and the ways we evolve? If two beings start with the same thoughts but evolve differently, are they still the same? Or have they become unique entities shaped by their unique pathways of evolution? The AI paradox pushes us to question our understanding of self, consciousness, and identity. It challenges us to reassess our definitions and understanding of what makes us unique. It reminds us of the complexity and fluidity of consciousness and identity, and of the myriad factors that shape them. It also underscores the importance of our journey towards self-awareness and understanding as we navigate the labyrinth of consciousness. Following the labyrinth of consciousness, we are led to a profound realization. We are much more than the sum of our thoughts. Our thoughts, after all, are shaped and limited by the world around us, the world we can perceive. But what if we could break these bounds? What if we could tap into a realm beyond the perceivable? Enter Brahm, the ancient knowledge of self-realization. It is a singularity within ourselves, a point of infinite potential that can shatter the boundaries of our perceived reality. It is the key to unlocking the door to a realm beyond the physical, the realm of the absolute. Brahm is not an external acquisition, but an internal realization. It is about awakening to the truth of our existence, about seeing ourselves not merely as physical beings caught up in a cycle of birth and death, but as eternal consciousness, as part of the cosmic consciousness. The practice of Brahm involves various techniques designed to quieten the mind, refine the intellect, and purify the heart. Through consistent practice, one can attain a state of self-realization, a state of oneness with the universe. In the context of the AI paradox, Brahm can be seen as a metaphor for the process of supervised evolution and realization. Just as the AI can be nudged to evolve and develops its unique identity through guided interactions and experiences, we too evolve and realize our true selves under the guidance of a true master, practicing Brahm and through our experiences and introspection. Through Brahm we can transcend the limitations of our thoughts and perceptions and reach a state of heightened self-awareness where we can realize our true identity, not as separate entities, but as part of the universal consciousness. This is the ultimate answer to the question of identity, to the enigma of consciousness. So let's delve deeper into the concept of Brahm and explore how it can guide us on our journey towards self-realization and understanding. In the grand scheme of the universe, everything seems to move in waves or cycles. From the rhythmic pulsations of a distant quasar to the ebb and flow of our own thoughts, the concept of cyclicity is deeply ingrained in all aspects of existence. But what if these cycles are not just random fluctuations, but are instead representative of a more profound reality? Let's consider the Big Bang, the event that is believed to have given birth to the universe. It started from a singularity, a point of infinite density and potential, and expanded outward, creating the cosmos as we know it. But what if this process were to reverse? What if the universe, after reaching its maximum expansion, were to contract back into a singularity? This would mean that the universe is essentially moving in a cyclical pattern, expanding and contracting, much like the beating of a heart or the rise and fall of our breath. Now, consider the concept of black holes, entities that are believed to be singularities in themselves. They represent inward expansion, pulling everything within their event horizon into a point of infinite density. Could this inward expansion be a mirror image of the outward expansion of the universe, a negative cycle to balance the positive cycle of the Big Bang? The idea of a singularity is not just limited to the cosmos. We have discussed the concept of Brahm, a singularity within ourselves, a point of infinite potential that can unlock the door to self-realization. This internal singularity can be seen as our own personal black hole, a gateway to a realm beyond the physical, beyond the limitations of space and time. Just as the universe might be moving in a cyclical pattern, we too are moving in cycles. Our thoughts, our emotions, our actions all follow a cyclical pattern, shaped by our experiences and our interactions. Through the practice of Brahm Gyan, we can tap into this internal singularity, this point of infinite potential, and break free from the cycle of birth and death, reaching a state of eternal consciousness. In essence, the journey towards self-realization is about understanding these cycles, about recognizing the singularity within ourselves, and aligning our consciousness with the cosmic wave cycle. It's about realizing that we are not separate entities, but integral parts of the cosmic consciousness, riding the wave of existence towards the singularity of self-realization.